Hello there, welcome to part 2 in this history of the Academy Awards, and already things are getting interesting. George C. Scott famously declined his nomination for the Best Picture winning Patton due to his hatred for the Oscars, but the Academy gave it to him anyway. That was also the year that saw the Beatles winning Oscars in the original song score category. A couple of key events happened the next year. First of all, Isaac Hayes performed one of the most famous original song numbers in the history of the awards for his song from Shaft, which he also won. John Williams also won his first Academy Award for his scoring of the Fiddler on the Roof soundtrack. The French Connection also took home 5 Oscars, including Best Picture and Best Actor. However, the show was not finished yet, as after 20 years living in Switzerland, Charlie Chaplin returned to the United States to be given an honorary award, and what I think is the greatest moment in the ceremony's history. Though The Godfather won Best Picture in 1973, it was Cabaret that proved to be the big winner that night. The Bob Fosse musical won 8 Oscars, including for Best Director, beating Francis Ford Coppola. However, the presentation everybody remembers is what happened when Marlon Brando won Best Actor. The 70s was definitely a crazy decade, as something even more sensational happened before the Best Picture was presented to The Sting. Incidentally, that was also the first time a female producer won the award, and 10-year-old Tatum O'Neal also became the youngest Oscar winner. That was also the first time Katharine Hepburn appeared at the ceremony. And horror films were treated with respect for once when The Exorcist was nominated for a bunch of Oscars and won for Best Adapted Screenplay. The Godfather Part 2 was the big winner of 1975, becoming the first sequel to win. Francis Ford Coppola also accomplished the incredible feat of also being nominated in Best Picture for The Conversation. Robert De Niro also became the first actor to win for a role that previously won an Oscar. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest became the second film to win the Big Five categories the following year, and it would be the first time Steven Spielberg would get snubbed by the Academy, as despite being nominated for Best Picture, Jaws was not nominated for its director. Of course, he wasn't the only new Hollywood filmmaker to get continually ignored by the Academy, as Martin Scorsese failed to get a directing nomination the following year for Taxi Driver. However, there was an underdog story when Sylvester Stallone's boxing film Rocky won Best Picture, and Lena Wertmüller became the first woman nominated for directing. Network was the notable winner of the awards, taking home 3 acting Oscars. Peter Finch became the first actor to win posthumously, and Beatrice Straight became the shortest Oscar-winning performance at only 5 minutes. Faye Dunaway finally won a well-deserved Oscar, though the other nominees don't look particularly pleased. Woody Allen's comedy Annie Hall took home Best Picture the next year, and of course, it would be the first of many times he would not show up to the Academy Awards, preferring to stay in New York and play the clarinet. However, Star Wars was no slouch either, with its 7 awards, including a Special Achievement Award for Ben Burtt and original score going to John Williams. The Vietnam War film, The Deer Hunter, took home Best Picture the following year, and it was also the first time Meryl Streep will be nominated. Then the divorce drama Kramer vs. Kramer won, and it will be the first of 2 wins for Streep. The 1981 ceremony was postponed following an assassination attempt on Ronald Reagan. David Lynch and Martin Scorsese earned their first nominations that year, though the winner was Robert Redford for Ordinary People, which would not be the final time he would lose to an actor-turned-director. Going into the 1982 ceremony, Reds was seen as the easy favorite, and Warren Beatty did win his only Oscar for directing it. However, in a major surprise, Chariots of Fire swooped in and won Best Picture, a victory for both the Brits and marathon runners. Vangelis' famous synthesizer score even beat out John Williams' rousing music from Raiders of the Lost Ark, though I imagine that was quite a close race. And finally, after many decades of ignoring this craft, the Best Makeup category was created with Rick Baker winning for his innovative work on An American Werewolf in London, his first of 7 Oscars. The Brits triumphed again the following year when Gandhi swept the awards, though Richard Attenborough would later say that he thought E.T. was much more deserving. Meryl Streep would also win her second Oscar for a heartbreaking turn and impressive Polish accent in Sophie's Choice. Terms of Endearment won Best Picture next year, including Shirley MacLaine's first Oscar and Jack Nicholson's second win. Ingmar Bergman's Fanny and Alexander also became the most awarded foreign film in Academy history. I look forward to the English language remake. Amadeus won 8 Oscars in 1985, with quite possibly the most surreal moment being when Laurence Olivier simply ripped open the Best Picture envelope. Producer Saul Sands proceeded to name the other films in his acceptance speech. Sally Field's win for Place in the Heart also led to that often parodied saying. Sidney Pollack's Out of Africa continued to love for period epics in the Academy with its 7 trophies, but there was a small victory for independent films as Kiss of the Spider-Woman became the first to receive a Best Picture nomination. The anti-Spielberg bias also continued this year, as The Color Purple received 11 nominations, but not one being a directing nod, and to add insult to injury, it did not win a single Oscar that night. In 1987, Oliver Stone's Vietnam War film Platoon won Best Picture, and a year after winning an honorary award, Paul Newman finally took home Best Actor for The Color of Money. However, he chose not to go to the Oscars that year. Marlee Matlin also became the first deaf actress to win an Oscar for performance in Children of the Lesser God. This was also the year that began the Academy's love for Pixar when Luxo Jr. became the first computer-animated short to be nominated. The Last Emperor swept through the next ceremony, which also saw Sean Connery win an Oscar for The Untouchables. The 61st Academy Awards is probably one of the most infamous to date, with Rob Lowe opening the show in a musical duet with Snow White, which almost led to a lawsuit from Disney. Ironic, considering the studio would later buy ABC, and also considering what a special evening that was for animation. Who Framed Roger Rabbit won 4 Academy Awards, including Best Visual Effects and a Special Achievement Award for Richard Williams. John Lasseter also won the Best Animated Short Oscar for Tin Toy, the first time a computer-animated film would win, and which would soon help them strike that deal with Disney. Oh, and Rain Man won Best Picture. Entering the 90s, Billy Crystal hosted the ceremony for the first time, and he would continue to do so plenty of times for the decade, with his traditional Best Picture medley starring the show. Dry Miss Daisy took home Best Picture, but without a directing nomination. And this was also the first year that saw Alan Menken winning his first of 8 Oscars, and the only time Howard Ashman would be up on stage before dying of AIDS a year later. Dances with Wolves swept the Oscar the following year, turning Kevin Costner into a 2-time Academy Award winner. Nick Park was also nominated twice in the animated short category and won for Creature Comforts. Madonna also appeared on the ceremony for the first time with a performance of the winning song from Dick Tracy. The Silence of the Lambs won the 5 major categories at the 64th Academy Awards, becoming only the 3rd film to do so. However, the most special moment was Beauty and the Beast becoming the first animated film to be nominated for Best Picture, and 3 of his songs were also nominated, with the title song winning the award. Meanwhile, Jack Palance, winning Best Supporting Actor for City Slickers, accepted the Oscar in the most unusual way. Clint Eastwood's Unforgiven won 4 awards the next year, though the biggest shock was Marissa Tomei winning Supporting Actress for a comedic role in My Cousin Vinny. 1994 was a big year for Steven Spielberg as 2 of his films triumphed. Jurassic Park won 3 Craftsman Awards, but most importantly, Schindler's List swept, with Spielberg finally winning Best Director for Years of Patience. Interesting enough, the Academy awarded to Spielberg's protege when Robert Zemeckis' Forrest Gump won 6 Oscars, with Tom Hanks winning for the 2nd year in a row. It beat out Quentin Tarantino's equally popular and acclaimed Pulp Fiction for the win, though Tarantino and Roger Avery still took home the original screenplay award. There was also controversy in the documentary category when the voting committee revealed that they stopped watching Hoop Dreams 15 minutes in, which prompted a major reworking of the voting procedures there. Showing the Academy is not afraid to award psychopaths, Mel Gibson's Braveheart won 5 Oscars, which I think they're probably regretting now. The charming Australian pig picture Babe netted a bunch of nominations and even won for Best Visual Effects. However, the biggest shock was Ang Lee and Ron Howard getting ignored for their directing on Sense and Sensibility and Apollo 13, even though both got plenty of nominations. John Lasseter was also given a Special Achievement Award for directing Toy Story, the first computer-animated feature. 1997 was all about the independent films as Harvey Weinstein showcased his major Oscar power when The English Patient won 9 awards. This was also the year that began the Academy's admiration of the Coen brothers when Fargo was nominated for Best Picture and won for Original Screenplay. And then Hollywood came roaring back with a massive ship as Titanic took home an astounding 11 Oscars, including 3 for Mr. James Cameron. The 71st Academy Awards were an interesting one, with the Weinsteins roaring back in again, with Shakespeare in Love winning Best Picture and beating the frontrunner Saving Private Ryan, though Spielberg still won for directing. When Roberto Benigni won Foreign Language Film for Life is Beautiful, the Academy got a taste of how energetic he is. The following year, Best Picture was given to American Beauty, but I have to be honest and say the thing most worth remembering is Robin Williams performing the nominated song Blame Canada from South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut, in the number choreographed by Kenny Ortega of all people. Trey Parker and Matt Stone also wore dresses and took acid before the show. They lost to Phil Collins, but hopefully the film adaptation of the Book of Mormon will be more to the Academy's liking. The 2001 ceremony was a real nail-biter, with Gladiator, Crouching Tiger and Dragon, and Traffic all having strong chances of winning Best Picture, for Gladiator was announced as the winner. A Beautiful Mind won the next year, as did Denzel Washington and Halle Berry in the leading actor categories. Most exciting of all, after 15 nominations, Randy Newman finally won Best Song for Monsters, Inc. After many years of discussion, the Best Animated Feature Award was also given that year for the first time. Woody Allen also attended the ceremony for the first time to present a special montage dedicated to New York City, and then quickly left after that, probably on the first flight back to Manhattan. Chicago then became the first musical to win Best Picture since Oliver, but most interesting was when the runaway Roman Polanski won Best Director for The Pianist. When Michael Moore won the Best Documentary Award for Bowling for Columbine, needless to say, he did not keep his feelings secret about the recent invasion of Iraq. Choosing to be a bit more subtle, legendary director Hayao Miyazaki refused to attend the ceremony in protest, when he won Best Animated Feature for Spirited Away. Oh, and Eminem has an Oscar. Still mystifies me. 2004 was a big year for fantasy and New Zealand as Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King swept through all the nominations, winning 11 Oscars in total. Chris Rock hosted the next year, and I think doing a decent job of bringing his stand-up style to the less risque Academy Awards. Martin Scorsese was seen as the frontrunner to finally win for The Aviator, and instead it went to, don't worry Marty, give it a couple more years and you'll win. Brokeback Mountain was seen as the easy favorite, but certain Academy members actually refused to watch the film, and in a stunning twist, the Oscar went to Crash. Finally, a Martin Scorsese film triumphed the next year as The Departed won Best Picture, and Scorsese finally took home Best Director. No Country for Old Men won at the 80th Academy Awards, though this was a ceremony that almost never happened because of the ongoing writer's strike. Hugh Jackman hosted the show next year, and I think he did a tremendous job, especially with the lower-end opening number that also poked fun at The Dark Knight, getting snubbed for Best Picture. Heath Ledger did win a posthumous supporting actor Oscar for his role as the Joker, though, tearfully accepted by his family. Slumdog Millionaire also swept the awards. After the negative reaction to The Dark Knight and WALL-E not receiving Best Picture nominations, the Academy expanded the category to 10 films, though the battle was still between two films, James Cameron's billion-dollar grossing Avatar and Catherine Bigelow's low-budget The Hurt Locker, with the latter winning and Bigelow becoming the first female director to win.